don't really have a solid system for using my collection of samples or auditioning those samples for the project that I'm working on, opening a folder on my computer and just scrolling through different audio files just isn't a super inspiring workflow. And here's a problem with that. What ends up happening is all of these samples that I've downloaded or even paid for in some cases just kind of end up sitting on my hard drive. I have this tune that I've been trying to finish and send off to a potential collaborator. And I've got a couple of strong sections that I really like. That's one. At this point, I could definitely use some samples to help with the drum production, maybe some melodic elements and ear candy. LANDR just released their new sampler. It has a ton of features, and I want to check that out with you today. I want to see if it can help us finish the song, but maybe more importantly, I want to see if it can help me simplify my workflow. Thank you to LANDR for their support by being a channel sponsor. And anytime I do a sponsored video like this, I'm just here to give you some information, show you how I would use this sampler to make some music, and ultimately help you make your own decision. So when you open up Sampler, you just want to add a location, aka select a folder where your samples are. So Sampler is going to scan through all of your samples. It's going to use metadata to categorize and apply different tags to your samples so that you can filter and search through them a little easier. You can load samples by pressing this button, and Sampler will load in a bunch of playable samples across the keyboard. Loops will have a dot on the keys, and then one-shots will have no dot. If you find a sample that you like, you can lock it in by pressing this little lock button, and then you can come up here to load samples. It'll load a whole new batch of samples for you. The sample you locked in will obviously still be on the keyboard. If we come up here to advanced filters, you can filter your different samples by sample type, length, categories, and also different locations. So for this song, I have taken all of my samples that apply to the synthwave and synth pop genre. I've put them in a specific folder. So for today, we are going to use that location. We are just going to load some samples. Down here at the bottom, you will see some different modes. Right now, we are in normal mode, and what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to trigger and play your loops and one-shots. You have some different playback modes. So in addition to your normal playback, you have a one-shot playback, and then you also have a looped playback. So you can turn your one-shots into loops if you want to do that. And with each playback mode, you have some different controls up top here as well. Chromatic Mode lets you take a sample and then pitch that sample across the keyboard. So if this is our sample, we can take this section right here, which is just a single note, and now we can play it across the keyboard. Slice mode will take your sample and then either using transients or beat divisions, it will break that out into different playable sections. You have 6 different effects that you can use with your samples, and you also have a sequencer mode if you want to build patterns directly in the plugin. LANDR have a complete walkthrough that I definitely encourage you to check out after this video. All right, so we are going to load a fresh batch of samples, and we are just going to start trying to find some stuff. That might be cool as like a little loop. Let's see. Play with some effects here. Okay, so that sounded cool to me. I'm not quite sure yet where I'm going to use that, but we will save it for later. Let's move on to some drums. Let's just hear that. All right, cool. So I like these drums a lot. I'm gonna play with adding just a little bit of reverb. A little bit of drive too. All right, so I'm gonna quickly go through, I'm gonna chop these drums up. I want my kicks and just the drum part in general to line up with my chords a little bit better. All right, so here's the first section. Okay, cool. That's feeling much better to me. I'm gonna add in some drum fills. Let's go back into LANDR Sampler. There was something in one of these drum parts that I really liked. It's not that one. All right, cool. So I like some of these drum fills in here. Let's export this. We'll slice out some of those drum fills and see how they work with our other drums. We might nix that one, but let's hear these all together. All right, I like this riser. Let's grab that. Cool. That's cool. Let's see if we change the timing. That might be cool. Let's grab it and maybe we'll find a place to use it. That is a cool little effect. Let's grab that one quick. Let's see where this could maybe go. It's kind of cool. So I ended up taking these toms and splicing them together with the toms that we already had to kind of create a drum fill. I also played around with the pitch of a couple of these just so we could kind of get some different sounding toms. Here is how this little section sounds. Super happy with that. That sounded pretty cool. So let's come back up here. Ooh, I like that. All right, so I like both of these a lot. Just like a cool little ARP, and then this, just kind of a cool little pad texture. So we are gonna grab both of these. Maybe we'll put this here. Actually, we are going to do, we'll speed up. It's cool. Let me just hear this. It's cool. I like it for a little texture right there. So I think we have more than enough parts to work with. Definitely locked in our drum production, which was the main goal, and we got some really cool synth textures as well. I'm gonna do a quick arrangement, but you take a listen to the final product. If you want to check out LANDR Sampler, it's included in LANDR Studio, which you can get 20% off with the link in the description. LANDR Studio includes a ton of great plugins, both LANDR plugins and third-party plugins. You get access to a huge sample library, mastering, distribution, tons of great features, so check out more info in the description below. Thanks for hanging today, my friends. I am Patrick. I will see you in the next video. Peace.